Good morning. Happy Thursday. It is April 3rd. So today, think about these last 2 weeks. How have you been healing the past, thinking about the past? Have you been guided to things that help you process the past? Really think about that today because you might see that being challenged with the moon in Gemini being ruled by Mercury retrograde, which is conjunct the North Node, but that moon is going to square all of that stuff in Pisces. So Saturn, Mercury, the nodes, and Venus as well. And all of that healing work, all of that intuition. Every time I start speaking, this guy starts pacing. Why? Because Gemini rules my house of pets. That's why. 1 second. Okay, we'll see how long that one lasts. Let me just give you an example. I think it's the best way to do this. Over these last 2 weeks, with the Mercury and Venus retrogrades making the conjunctions to the Sun and then moving back into Pisces, making the conjunctions to Neptune, and then Neptune moving into Aries, all of that has brought up a lot of healing and processing old things, and there's been a lot of guidance, almost like divine guidance towards what I need to hear and see and read to be able to process those things, right? So I was kind of guided to watch 13 Reasons Why, which I have refused to watch all of these years because things that deal with suicide, child loss, or overt emotional or mental abuse would send me spiraling for sometimes months on end, okay? So I've refused to watch it, but about a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago, something in my head, the little voice in my head, the divine guidance or whatever, said it's time. So I did. I watched it, and I was able to process, and here he goes again. Anywho, I was able to process a lot, a whole nother layer of trauma with watching that and kind of just working through memories as they would come up while watching that. I swear this is the most accurate example of astrology on the mundane level you could ever imagine, with this guy pacing, keeping me from being able to communicate this stuff. Very interesting. Anywho, yes, I watched the 13 Reasons Why. I processed a whole nother level of healing. I did not spiral. That is a huge progress for me. And then after doing that, after watching it, after getting through a lot of that, I then came across this information just out of nowhere about how our brains, when we experience trauma, the parts of our brains that manage memories basically breaks, right? And we start holding on to all those little memories as a protective measure. Our brain is no, you need to remember this, and it's always inundating us with those intrusive thoughts, the intrusive memories. It's why we have bad memories, and we can't remember whole conversations, but we can remember that one time that one person said that one thing in this one place wearing those clothes. We can remember every detail about that because our subconscious clocked that was a lie or manipulation because of the abuse, and knew that it was going to need it later, right? It's very strange how our brains work in that way. And learning that kind of helped me as well, because that's why we literally cannot just let it go and move on. So that took a lot of guilt and anger off of me, to understand that's why I'm always accused of living in the past, because my brain is just doing that. My subconscious is constantly hitting me with these intrusive thoughts and these intrusive memories. And we need to heal those things and then rewire our brains to get it to work right again. And that was just a huge healing moment for me. So really think about that over these last 2 weeks. Have you had things like that come up? Have you dealt with them? Have you faced them? Have you allowed yourself to be guided in this process? Or have you been fighting against it, okay? Today, it's going to be challenged. The moon in Gemini being ruled by Mercury retrograde, conjunct that North Node, and the moon also making a square to Saturn, Mercury, the nodes, and Venus today. that's going to challenge that. That's this one side that's kind of information overload. Everything is contradictory. Nothing makes sense. It's just going a million miles a minute versus all of the intuition, the divinely guided kind of energy here, that review of the past, what you do need to be processing to let go. Whatever it is moving you forward on your path, because that Mercury is conjunct the North Node, right? And it's going to be uncomfortable. Following your path is uncomfortable. It requires you to get out of the comfort zone of that South Node and move towards the forward movement of the North Node, right? So there's gains here, but whether or not those gains actually get you anywhere is kind of up to you as to whether or not you actually want to step out of that comfort zone and deal with it. So we've got logical brain on overload versus intuition and divine guidance. And those two are butting heads. And we can have a tendency to try to merge them, to try to make ourselves feel more comfortable. But this is where we end up with like conspiracy theories and sticking our head in the sand and pretending like nothing's happening. It's where we can really twist and manipulate truth as well, just to try to make ourselves feel more comfortable. But everything going on right now is uncomfortable, and we've got to face that and deal with it and sit in that space of being uncomfortable to figure out where those changes need to be made. We still have Mars in a trine to Saturn, and that trine making a sextile to Uranus in Taurus. Again, this is shaking up your sense of comfort. It's shaking up finances. It's shaking up the things that just make you feel good, right? And we've got to pay attention to that, because this is giving us an opportunity to stand on business with our boundaries, our intuitive boundaries, our emotional boundaries. It's giving us the opportunity to do the work, right? And that is opening up a door to being able to take action in that realm of emotions and empathy and compassion. But it can also, if you're fighting against it, lead to an open door of basically doubling down on manipulation, opening up to emotional outbursts. Okay. Now the moon is going to be void from about 12:30 this afternoon Mountain Time until just before 5 p.m. That 4.5 hour void is where we're going to process things. You can't start anything new. No trying to strike up a new conversation. Really take what is coming up this morning and sit with it this afternoon. This is really rough, okay? With all of the squares, because we're coming off of a square to Mercury, that 4 hours is really conflicting. It's very confusing. So we've really got to sit with it. We got to process it and make sure that we're allowing ourselves to be a little more divinely guided in processing these things. And then when it moves into Cancer, around just before 5, it's like at 4:49, 4:50 this afternoon, it's going to square Neptune. There could be a lot of emotionally charged outbursts. These could be based off of beliefs and like delusions. And this is just really a fight in the emotional realm today. And really in conflict with what is true versus what you're hearing. And it's just a rough energy today. Really take the time to slow down and make sure that you're processing things as they come up, and that you're doing this work and working with the energy of going backwards. Don't let anybody guilt you into saying that, you're living in the past. Remember, if you've been traumatized, you're living in the past because your brain is protecting you, and we've got to work on that to be able to move forward, okay? Let's pull some cards. The energy of the day today. Also, you might see a lot of people exposing themselves, and then you're going to have to, saying shit to show you who they really are, and you're going to have to work with that. You're going to have to accept that it is what it is, right? Energy of the day is the devil. Squares. I always say that squares has a very devil feel, right? Things are out of your control. These are not things that you're creating. It's shit happening around you that you're having to deal with. Even when we look religiously, right, the actual devil, Lucifer, Satan, right, squares are kind of like that, right? It's stopping you, it's keeping you from moving forward. And we know folks in the religious world tend to blame it all on the devil because they just don't like it, right? It's a hard energy because so many people want to fight against it, but really you've got to stop. Because if you're not stopping and dealing with it and processing it and making the changes that need to be made, the universe will stop it for you, and that's when things go really south, okay? So that energy today of things just kind of being out of your control and like the universe is pulling the strings here. That is just the overall feel of the day. What to focus on today? Ten of Swords. Or Ten of Swords, Jesus, that's Wands. 10 of Wands. How much are you carrying that's not yours? How much weight do you have on you that needs to be dropped? What can you do to get to a place where you can let go of these things that are not for you to carry anymore? We've got to start really dropping the things that aren't ours. We've got to start working through the things that are holding us back and making us feel so heavy, because there's a lot of work to be done here in the near future. I forgot to say, make sure that you have cash going into this weekend. I think that this aspect pattern that's building up with that Uranus and Taurus, it's either the stock market tanking, or I fear it might be about Social Security. I don't know if yesterday's payments went out or not. So I don't. There's something financial happening that's going to have a reaction to it. Just make sure that you have cash on hand if that does happen. Okay. What to avoid today? What does the collective need to avoid today? Justice. Don't take things into your own hands. Okay. Really, again, that void moon is going to be like really long. It's 4.5 hours. You're really going to want to take things into your own hands. You're really going to want to create that justice in your realm around you. But sometimes we got to just take a step back, let them dig their own grave, let the universe handle it. Because remember, things are out of our control right now. Let the chips fall where they may, right? We've got to learn to go with the flow here and stop trying to maintain control of every little thing. Bottom of the deck is 5 of Wands, so there's a lot of like arguments and conflict in this day. Look at that, the tower was underneath of it. There's a lot of conflict in the day, a lot of little petty arguments. That moon in Gemini can get really petty, really two-faced, okay? So really pay attention to that. That's what's really driving this. Understand that you might not be able to do anything about it. You really might just need to take a step back and watch what is happening, observe, realize how much of that you're carrying that you don't need to be carrying, and where you need to move forward. But we're just not going to really have that opportunity to start new and move forward today. So don't take justice into your own hands today. Let the universe do that for you. Okay, clarifiers for the devil. Maybe, that was way too much. So let's try again. 2, please, just 2. All right, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So this new beginning, the universe is creating that new beginning for you. That new beginning of stability, finances, just a better grounding, right? The devil is Capricorn card, right? Capricorn's all about building foundations. So we're really like let go and let God, right, with the North Node and Pisces, because sometimes we've got to let the universe pull the strings so that we can get to that new beginning. We've got to let those endings happen so that we can build those new foundations. Okay. So it's like, even though it's hard, there's an energy of rebuilding here. And 9 of Wands. So it's also showing you where you've got to put your foot down. And really, this is a wounded warrior thing. Like, this is already, you've been battling, you've been having these boundaries, you've been trying really, really hard to keep them going, and you're so tired, but you know you have to keep defending it, right? There is this energy that is paying off, right? There is an energy of, okay, they're being tested one last time. what do we need to do? We need to make sure that we're keeping those boundaries strong, and it is going to pay off. It's going to get you to a better place. And right now, the universe is doing what it's got to do to get you in that space, as long as you keep those boundaries strong, okay? Clarifiers on the Ten of Wands. Clarifiers on the Ten of Wands. Two of Wands, right? What's holding you back from making your decisions to move forward? What are you holding on to that is weighing you down, that's keeping you from being able to move forward for yourself? Okay. One more, please. And Four of Wands. What is keeping you from making that decision to move forward for your own happiness? The things that light you up, that make you feel good, that put you in a place of personal happy stability, right? This is really beautiful energy of finding your space, who you are as an individual, what you need to do for yourself to find that victory, that celebration type of energy. What are you carrying that is keeping you from doing that? Okay, let's pull some clarifiers for justice here. Five of Cups, that regret, that past, and Three of Pentacles. Okay. We are avoiding justice, right? So Three of Pentacles, this is co-workers, it's people that you're networking with, usually has something to do with money, job, things of that nature, just overall stability and groundedness. And Five of Cups, this is that regret. This is really thinking about what has happened and not paying attention to what you've got right behind you. And there's like some justice here. Like, so there could be something that comes up, possibly at work, where people are realizing they screwed up, right? And they're really like now in this space of talking out of both sides of their mouth, trying to fix it, knowing full well that it's just part of this mask, right? Like I said, people are going to be telling on themselves with this energy, and as petty as I am, and I would love to just say, you know what, get them. I think this is that situation where let them expose themselves, let them dig their own grave, and let the universe handle how that happens, what happens there, because it's actually not your responsibility. So we need to let go of that wand that makes us feel like we've got to do something about this, okay? It's not yours. Let it go. Drop that wand, because it's holding you back from your happiness, from being able to move forward from yourself here. So really difficult day, very rough day, a lot of conflict, a lot of gossiping, a lot of really just stressful energy. Make sure that you are slowing down and processing what comes up, sorting out what is yours, what is not yours, and moving forward for yourself as an individual. Neptune in Aries is very much individualism in the realm of your intuition, your spirituality, right? It's also, and I actually did a video on this yesterday on TikTok, and I forgot to mention this, but this is really the universe telling you nobody's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. And we're starting to realize that once the moon moves into Cancer and makes that square, right? You really want to be good to people. You really want to be helpful and nurturing, right? But you also got to understand nobody's coming to save you. You need to save yourself, right? So rough day ahead. Slow down and process things as they come up.